Hi there, this is Chris from MoneyHub, and this video looks at the American Express Airpoints Platinum card. This is New Zealand's highest earning Airpoints dollar card per dollar spent. So since 2022, when government law dropped the number of fees that the likes of Visa and MasterCard could charge to merchants, that had a flow-on effect with dropping the amount of rewards offered by Visa and MasterCard cards through the banks, and that's meant that Amex is a lot more generous relative to like the other cards. And in the space of the platinum cards for Airpoints dollars, then we can see that Amex currently is offering a $59 if you spend $59, you'll earn one Airpoint dollar. But if you compare that to ANZ, then it's going to be 110, and if you compare that to Kiwibank, it's going to be 115, and if you look at Westpac, that's 110. So it's around a 46 to 48% lower, which means if you want to earn 500 Airpoints dollars for a trip to Australia, it's going to take you twice the amount of spend almost with an ANZ or a Kiwibank or a Westpac card that it would with Amex. So that's worth noticing, sort of being aware of, straight away. And what I'm going to do is just quickly go through our review so you can kind of get an understanding of what the card offers. So first up, it's got an annual fee of $195. That is pretty consistent with what these platinum cards charge. You can see here that the fees for the other cards on offer range from $125 to $180, and then supplementary card fees if you want to add someone else, as a card holder, do add up as well, and that is not charged by Amex. A second to that, you will get a bonus amount of Airpoints offered. Now, this does change from time to time. Currently, at the time that I've recorded this video, it's 300. That was at April 2023, but we do see that kind of stick, and sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less, but for most of the times, the $300 Airpoints bonus is their long-running promotion. And we think that's very generous, because it does kind of pay for about a year and a half of card fees. That assumes that you value one Airpoint dollar as one New Zealand dollar. So if that is the case, then you are kind of protected from the card's fees for 1.5 years if you do renew it. Now, just as a summary of what you can earn, we previously said it's $59. That's going to earn you one Airpoint dollar. And that is the highest from all the other Airpoints credit cards, including all the Platinum Airpoints cards. And then if you look at that, what you'll earn, throughout the different cards, we've got a little summary here. And if you were to spend $2,500 per month, then with the Airpoints dollars, with the Amex card over 1 year, you'd earn a 508. Then you'd earn 508 Airpoints dollars, but with the other cards you'd earn between 260 and 272. So it's around half, which certainly adds up over time. If you get this card for say 3-5 years and you're a shortfall of 300-400 Airpoints dollars per year on a $30,000 of spend, then that's going to be around 1,500 or 1,000 Airpoints over that time. So those things do add up. And I just want to go through now the perks, and complimentary lounge passes is certainly one of the biggest perks. So you get 2 of those from Amex lounges, either in Sydney or Melbourne International. So you can use them there. So you can use them both for yourself or 1 + 1 guest. And then it's the same thing for the 2 priority passes. Now, they've got lots of lounges all around the world. So if you're traveling from Auckland, it's the Strata Lounge. If you're traveling from Christchurch, it's the Mania Lounge, and the same for Queenstown as well. Now, around the world, you can use them. You can use them in Brisbane. You can use them in Singapore. You can use them in England. You can use them in the US at many airports. So that is worth noting that they are quite flexible. Most, this has been a consistent offering. Unfortunately, due to the change in the law, the ANZ card and the Kiwibank card used to offer lounge passes for Air New Zealand. That's been scrapped. So if you are thinking, oh, well, what do I get from other cards? The answer is now nothing. And previously, you had to spend between $20,000 and $30,000 to get a pair of vouchers to be able to use at the Air New Zealand Lounge with your Kiwibank card or your ANZ card. That has 100% gone. Now, if you still have vouchers, they may not have expired yet, but they've been previously earned, but you certainly won't be earning anymore. So that's just a point of difference there. The second perk from the Amex card is the complimentary travel insurance. So that's worth knowing about, because if you do spend on your return airfare for your trip, then you'll be covered for domestic travel if you do a domestic trip, and you'll also be covered for international. And that can cover up to quite a lot of medical, and it's all complimentary with Amex. You don't have to get separate travel insurance, which certainly can add up for a family. So just be aware that that's one of the benefits. Now, you will get that with other platinum cards as well, and that's just something to know that, that is a sort of a standard offering. What you won't get with lots of platinum cards or any other kind of premium card is something called complimentary smartphone screen insurance, and also complimentary purchase protection cover. So these are things which are kind of like insurance on things that you need to fix or that need to be repaired. So smartphone, obviously, if you break it or something happens, then you can make a claim, and the claim can be to a maximum of $500. And then with the purchase protection cover is that if you actually purchase something with an Amex card and it gets stolen or it gets damaged within 90 days, then you can also get insurance from that. It's not sort of encouraging you to be careless or lazy or forgetful, but it is something that, has a benefit there as well. Of course, there are exclusions which are worth noticing, which are worth being aware of. And those are, those are listed in our review. Now, status points is something else which is quite important. A lot of the cards now, they've offered them in the past, and this is something that Amex is quite strong on. So it's $250 spent in New Zealand to earn one status point. And that means that if you want to qualify for gold, then you can earn up to $450 from non-flights per year. And that will help you. So you'd have to spend $250 times $450, which is just over $112,000 to be able to earn $450 status points. But with the likes of ANZ now removing status points from a credit card spend, then that's certainly something to be aware of, that, that you can sort of top up your flight status points with the Amex card. And it is quite straightforward. Your status points get they're credited every month at the same time as your Airpoints dollars. So you'll just show them. So you'll just see them showing up in your Airpoints account. And then finally, discounted Coro Clubs is another benefit. And you can see that you'll save the joining fee, and then you'll get like an annual fee discount there as well. So if you don't have Air New Zealand Gold or Gold Elite, then that's certainly something that may benefit for you. And, that's something that comes standard with most platinum cards. So just in summary here, we think there's a lot to like about the card, but of course it's not going to be for everyone. And there are some issues around acceptance, as I previously mentioned. So whilst the Amex card is largely accepted throughout New Zealand, and it's certainly accepted by large retailers, by petrol stations, and by supermarkets, it's not going to be at every, independent store. It's not going to be in cafes, in metro areas or something like that. Some of them will just say no Amex. Some of them may react badly if you show an Amex card. Obviously that's not great, but people just, some people just won't accept Amex cards, largely because they have no relationship with Amex or they don't want to pay the Amex fees. But in time, we are aware that Amex is making quite strong inroads and making more partners come on to their network. And so you may need to have a backup card. And that is something which we've got separately sort of discussed in our rewards card information, which I've linked to down below as well. So just be aware that it's certainly a very turbo earning card for Airpoints dollars. And you'll earn effectively twice as many Airpoints dollars for every dollar spent, and get a whole bunch of lounge perks, sign up bonus, and all of that stuff. but it's not going to be accepted everywhere, and that's just a fact of life. And finally, what are some pros and cons? So the pros and cons is the highest earning rate, the customer service. We hear like very good things, just because if you do have an Amex card, you deal directly with Amex. So if there's a problem, then you go straight to Amex and you have a direct one-on-one relationship. The problem that we've seen before helping people with credit card disputes with bank credit cards, is that it's been sent to the bank, and then the bank will send it over to Westpac. Will send it over to ANZ. It will send it over to a Visa or MasterCard, and then the bank will then hear back from a Visa or MasterCard and then take it back to the customer. And that's annoying because that just drags out the process and it can leave you on the hook in some cases. And we're not that happy about that. We think it should be more integrated. It should be, you come first as the card holder. But with Amex, you do get that direct relationship that is quite useful. And that's, sort of further on there, that kind of covers the favorable dispute terms, and that there is increasingly like a wider acceptance. But at the same time, a whole bunch of people won't accept it as well. And this is non-chain retailers, this is your independents and things like that. And we've also made a comment around lounge accesses. We don't think that, we're pretty confident in what Amex offers for lounge access is now uncomparable, because the fact that they've scrapped, is that they've scrapped the cards they've scrapped the vouchers from ANZ and from Kiwibank. So what we also want to note is that the currency conversion is higher than some of the other banks. So 2.5% is going to be much more, not much more, but it is going to be more than, say, the 1.3% from ANZ or the 1.85% or the other 2.5% from other banks. So just be aware that if you are making a lot of purchases like an overseas currency, you might be traveling overseas, or you might be buying stuff online, then that is going to be a factor worth knowing about. But we have to be fully transparent here, because these things can add up. It really depends on how you use the card. So does the card work in New Zealand? That's the question if you're not familiar with Amex. And the answer is yes. Plenty of people have Amex cards. We kind of expect it to be something that goes up, especially now because of the interchange fees dropping on MasterCard and Visa for the banks. For the merchants, and so they can just offer far less rewards, and that makes their platinum offers or their platinum cards and their standard credit cards far less desirable for people who want rewards and to earn things for their everyday spend. So we've included a little summary here to explain exactly what's on, exactly what people's experiences are. But of course, everyone's different. So do make sure that it is going to be suitable for you. It's good for earning air points and turbocharging all of that, as I previously said. But if you do want to use it at a whole bunch of independent cafes, then you may face some pushback from that and some non-acceptance, which means you need to use your debit card or a backup card. So thanks very much for watching. We've tried to make this review as comprehensive as possible. If you do have any questions about the Amex Airpoints Platinum card, please do let me know. You can leave comments below. You can write to us. We're very responsive because we want to make sure that our information is comprehensive as possible, and we want to make sure that we're answering all the questions which need to be answered. So without sort of anything further, I'll leave it there, and do let us know if you have any questions.